Welcome to Human Potential at Work, the show where we explore social impact, inclusion, and empowerment of everyone, including persons with disabilities. Your host is Deborah Rue, CEO of Rue Global Impact and co-founder and chairwoman of Billion Strong, an identity and empowerment organization designed to bring billions of voices of persons with disabilities together. To join the global community and to donate to the cause, visit billion-strong.org. That's billion-strong.org. And now, on to the episode.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. I'm so excited about 2022. I think I'm more excited about 2022 than I was about 2021. I didn't realize how hard 2021 was going to be, but I'm optimistic about 2022. So today, my guest is Irene Sarpato. And I have been calling her Irene because that's what Americans would pronounce it, but it's actually Irene. So if I say it wrong during the episode, I know that my producer will kick me in the background, but Irene, you help us too. I want to say your name correctly. And she is joining us in a small town outside Milan in Italy, and she's going to tell us a little bit about that. And she works for Adidas, which is a brand that I know really does care about inclusion because I've seen a lot of the work they're doing. I don't know that much about it, but I know Adidas is one of the brands that really wants anybody to have their products and successfully use them and love them and everything else. So we're going to talk about mainly about her work, and she recently got an award with Adidas, and I want her to tell us about that. And I'm going to keep looking at my notes to make sure I say your name properly, but I'm also going to remember, let's do a visual description for any of the viewers that might not be able to see the camera. Maybe they're just listening as audio, or maybe they're visually impaired or blind, like my beautiful Jasmine who works with us. So I have gray hair and it's gotten very long and for me, and it's curly and I have purple in it. And also these days, since I cannot ever find my reading glasses, I have a little beaded thing to keep my glasses on my face so I remember where it is. And very blessed to have power today because my family has been without power, water, and Wi-Fi for 3 days in very cold weather. So I'm so happy to have electricity. But Irene, tell us more about who you are. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you, Deborah. Thanks for having me. My name is Irene. I'm from Italy. I'm an Asperger lady in her 40s. My pronouns are she, her. I have medium length curly brown hair, brown eyes, and a light skin tone. And I'm wearing a purple sweater, of course.
You gotta honor purple. Beautiful. So I like when
purple is the new gold.
Yes, I agree. But sorry, you go.
On something on a personal note, I hold a degree in philosophy, specializing in moral psychology and human science. I mention this because I'm really proud to be a philosopher. My dissertation was on prejudice, discrimination, and social stigma around mental conditions.
Wow.
Very much passionate about people, and I also completed a master in human resources. I have been volunteering in Mental Health Association as a moral consultant for a really long time. And I'm also the facilitator of the Young Remarkable Workshop, which is an initiative aimed at empowering women and people from underrepresented groups to celebrate their achievements in the workplace and beyond. And Adidas, I am also the founder and chair of a global disability-based ERG named Worlds of Abilities. And that's it.
Oh, yeah, that's it. And she has blessed us by becoming a global advisor for Billion Strong. So we are so thrilled to be working with Irene. And I'm going to keep doing that until I train my brain how to say it. But I just really love the work that you're doing and that Adidas is doing and I love your dissertation. But before we start that, because I know we were all so worried about Italy, as many were worried about us here in the States too during COVID-19. So can you just do a little check-in and let us know how you're doing and how's Italy doing?
Well, at the moment, I will say that I was really lucky because all the people in my family and the people close to me were safe and healthy during the whole pandemic. Also, I have to say I was really careful because my husband is a person with a disability, heart disease. So we were really closed for all the time, especially during the first lockdown. And I was running in the basement. I was having short walks just around the house. So limitations were really tough for everyone in Italy. At the moment, all the limitation and relative movement, the vaccination campaign is progressing very well. We have health and safety measures in place in the workplace, public place. So I really feel safe at the moment. I'm about to have my third vaccination dose. I say I'm optimistic because we are really now focusing on preventing the spreading of contagion. People are taking really seriously and are really careful. So the situation is really improved.
I'm so glad. I wish we could, in some ways, things have improved in the States. In some ways, they haven't improved at all, and they're getting worse and scary because we still have a lot of people that do not want to take the vax. They are really afraid. They're just really afraid. And it doesn't help when our CDC lies to us, even when they're trying to protect us. I understand that why, but telling us at the beginning, the masks don't make a difference. By the time you tell us they do, because of course they do, we're not going to trust you anymore. And then recently there was something that happened with, you only need 5 days if you've been impacted. That's not true. It's 7 to 10 days. And Americans are very confused. And unfortunately, it's killing us because I lost 2 of my brothers this year. It's horrible.
Oh,
yeah. Neither one of them should have died either. So anyway, I guess that's not true. They weren't anyway. I guess we don't know when we're going to die, but I think this is an opportunity at the same time. And I know you're looking at it like that. So it is a shame that people in my country are not thinking about, everybody's just scared. So I'm glad that things are doing better in Italy. I remember we were all looking at Italy. We really love Italy and just.
Yes, we were really impacted heavily at the beginning of the pandemic. And
really horrible.
Yeah.
We felt so bad for you. So I'm so glad things are going better. But all right. So you said that you run an ERG, employee resource group. So let's talk a little bit about that. Because what I'd like to do is maybe we can talk a little bit about Adidas at the beginning and then move more into the stuff that you're doing for Adidas and on your own as well.
Yes. What I love working in the sports industry is that really sports is really for everyone. And what I love about Adidas, it's a core belief that through sport, we have the power to change lives. This is really resonated with me. I strongly believe it. When I wake up in the morning, every morning, I'm really motivated by that. And what I really wanted to do from creating a new ERG based on disability was really bring to life the core belief of the company. Because really, I think sports is for everyone, including people with disabilities. We are more than 1 billion people around the world.
Right.
And it's just a stereotype and the prejudice that people with disability are not physically active. People with disability love sports exactly like everyone else. And the Paralympic movement is helping a lot to refresh the conversation about physical activity and sports of people with disabilities. And I really wanted to challenge the stereotype that sport is only for the youngest, the healthiest, the strongest. It's for everyone.
Yes.
I wanted to change the conversation and demonstrate and also spread the success stories of athletes, of people who are successful in the workplace, living with a disability, visible or invisible. So we are really spreading good stories that people can relate to. And I was really happy to start the conversation because when I started it up, I was with a group of 22 volunteers across Europe. In 1 year of activity, we more than doubled the membership. Now we have a strong group also in North America. And so many people joining our live events because we are really offering a platform also to ask questions, because we notice that people sometimes are silent disabilities because they're afraid to say the wrong thing.
Right.
We really had an educational and awareness campaign also on inclusive language. And when you have to talk to someone with a disability or to talk about disabilities, to be respectful, to see the full person and not only the condition.
Right.
That's crucial and was really so much appreciated by colleagues. And we put ourselves in the spotlight, telling our lived experiences of people with disabilities, because it's really something you can relate on. It's not an expert talking from a university about something theoretical. It's the person like beside your desk telling you their stories. So it's really something real and concrete. And that was really something I am proud of. I am proud of the team. I'm proud of the conversation we started, because we are ERG are mainly intended for employees, but we are expanding the conversation also to offer more accessibilities in the physical and digital workplaces to improve the products. So product design, also job design for future talent with disability who would like to join us. So we're really creating meaningful connection and conversations.
And you bring up so many good points, because one thing that we have going on right now is the Great Resignation. And there were surveys done that showed 40% of people that were employed felt that they would not be with their current employer in 1 year. That's really scary to employers. But young, brilliant people like you that are really trying to make a difference in the world, that's who the brands want. So Adidas is so lucky to have your talent, and I'm sorry to embarrass you, but it's just true. And all of the brands are starting to realize, if we want to attract the people that are talented, they bring a lot to the table, diverse, because if you bring in diversity, we all look at the problem differently. We do, with different lived experiences. I just came off 3 days of no power and electricity or Wi-Fi, dealing with 2 people with very severe disabilities. And it changes you it just helps you. I feel that it's a growing opportunity. If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. But you are just the kind of employee that all brands want. So Adidas is lucky to have you. I'm sorry to embarrass you again, but it's just true. I was just curious I know the ERG is relatively new, but have you worked with any of the other diverse ERGs at Adidas to do any kind of cross promotion? I'm starting to see that happen. I love it. I was just wondering, because you're still new, but have y'all started thinking about that?
Oh, yes, of course. And one of the initiatives I have in mind for this new year is also to create a partnership, for example, with the Women Network or the Experience the Generation Network. When we talk about disability, is the most intersectional topic.
Right.
For example, if I think about caregivers, they are mainly women over 40 and 50. So we have a connection with other groups of people in the companies. And I would really like to offer a safe space for caregivers to share their challenges, to get support, to also be seen and be valued, because on these people, there's sometimes a huge burden because they have a regular full-time job, and then they have another very also emotional job at home, because they have to take care of people with disability or elderly parents with Alzheimer, for example. That's really huge. It's a moral and emotional, physical effort that company needs to acknowledge and to support.
I agree. And another huge problem, because that's something, and once again, we're so glad that Irene has agreed to be one of our global advisors, but that we want to take on at Billion Strong, because I'm sorry, but I think there's no job that's more important than a human taking care of another human being. I think that's more important than making hamburgers or making tacos or any, and yet in the United States, you will be paid more to be a fast food worker than you will to be a caregiver. We pay these basketball and football stars and Hollywood stars such ridiculous money. And then the ones that are really making a difference, these people can't even afford to feed their own children, but this work to some of them really gets in their soul. So we have to improve it for caregivers.
Absolutely. And I also think, you know what, we are talking about human potential at work. Mm-hmm. I really think that people who have lived experience as a caregiver, for example, can be fantastic leaders in the workplace because of empathy, because they really know people needs that are not only working overtime to be present in the office all the whole time, they really are smarter on ensuring reasonable accommodation, not only for people with disabilities, but also for their allies and caregivers. Mm-hmm. So it make the work environment much more human, let's say.
I agree.
It's something that really allows you to thrive.
And what we found during the pandemic, when everybody was teleworking, people got more productive. They were more productive. So it's okay that you let us combine our life with work, because we're living our lives as we're working for you. So now the younger generation are saying, I'm not going to work for you if you don't understand. I have a life outside work, and then I'm more productive and creative and innovative for you if I take time to be with my family, if I take time away from work. So
I think many employers are really discovering it with some surprise, because people are not that happy to be back in the office, because they found they are much more productive with flexible mix of presence and remote working, because they can organize their day better. They are much more productive.
Right.
And think about myself. I am Asperger, so it's pretty difficult for me to work in an environment, in an office, for example, an open space with that lighting, with people talking on the phone all the time, talking from one desk to another at the same time, with photocopies, with the phone ringing. So at the end of the day, it's sensory overloading. And also having coffee at the coffee machine all together, following different conversation in parallel. So difficult. And
I was always so distracted. I was always, I'm the person that's distracting everybody else, because it's like, oh, let's chat. It's like, Deborah, let's go to work. So I'm much better when I work at home. So it's like my ADHD isn't going, squirrel. And so I get it.
Yes, last year, I really discovered that I was not aware at that moment that I was a speaker, because it came later during last year. But I really discovered how much more energy I was able to put in my job, and also in other things, because I completed online courses on diversity and inclusion. I started to study the Italian Sign Language. I contributed to the COVID task force with caring initiative for employees in Italy. I did so many things last year, just having the possibility to work from home. And that reasonable accommodations that people with disabilities have been asking for so long time, many times that they didn't have the possibility to work from home.
No, and they try to shame
people with disability needed to stop working for an employer, or couldn't start working for an employer, just for the lack of these really simple things.
I think, and what we have to do now is we have to build the world that works for more people. And so I know that it's funny, right out of the gate of 2022, it got very hard for my family, very hard. So it doesn't mean we're not going to walk these hard times, but now let's show employers how to move forward, because the reality is employers are people. Brand, I hate that here in the States, we gave corporations the same rights as humans. I think that's a mistake, and I wish we'd take that away. But I think enough of us know the world can't work like this. And the employers, by the way, if we don't want to work for you, we're not going to work for you. And the younger generations, I'm so proud of, because they're definitely not going to work for you. They're going to leave. They don't think it's a badge of honor to stay with a brand for 25 years. They don't even understand those things. So I love that it feels like the employees are saying, no, that is not the way it's going to work. No. And so what do we do to move the world forward so that more people can be involved? We have to do that. We have to hold the light. And so I'm excited, even though it's hard. And I will tell you, there were many tears. It's hard. These losses, watching what's happening to my beautiful husband with late stage dementia, it's difficult. I'm not being a Pollyanna, but I do believe that we can make a difference, which is why I was so impressed with your work. Because you were just over there in Italy, just making a difference. You're just not waiting for anybody to tell you you can do it or you shouldn't do it. You're just doing it. And I admire that a lot. So let's talk more about who you are and your hopes and where are you going and what does the future look like for you?
Wow.
I know, but I think right now let's dream big, right? Let's dream big because we can
Yeah,
do whatever we want.
I completely agree. I always dream big. When people ask me what motivates you, which is your mission, what we would like to achieve, my answer to the question is I want to change the world. Let's
Go big. I agree. Yes.
And which is why I joined Billy Strong, because I want to change the world for the better, because we really need a more inclusive world for everyone. This is what motivates me when I wake up in the morning. This is what gives me the energy, despite the challenges, despite the difficulties, despite everything, because I really feel I am strong if I can perform purpose-driven. If I think about my career, this now 20 years now, I have a turning point when the company started to talk about diversity and inclusion. And I immediately jumped in because I was already an activist in mental health, women's rights. With that part of my personality, what really mattered to me was not visible in the workplace until that point, because the message before was, okay, you have to leave your problems, your insecurity, your vulnerability outside of the door. When you enter the office, you have to put on this smiling face, everything is okay, and just think about work and nothing else. When the company says, okay, bring your authentic self to work, be yourself 100%, we appreciate differences, we really value different perspectives. That was the point. And I said, okay, now I can be myself 100%.
Now I can really contribute.
So many energies in that.
Yes.
So motivated. So it's now, I'm not working in a diversity, equity, and inclusion role full time now. It's just volunteering for me, but it's not just, it's volunteering.
Right.
I really value it. Because it's what really adds purpose to my working day. I create so many meaningful links and with people all around the world. And when we organize live events with World of Abilities, there's always someone contacted me saying, "Oh, you made my day. You give me hope for my son with Down syndrome," because we are really pushing that. That's what really makes you happy at the end of a working day, okay, what you achieved, and also the meaningful links you created, the people you are able to support, every single kind word, kind act, also to a colleague. It's what makes the difference at the end of the day. And it doesn't matter if you are in the office or working from home.
And hope is a beautiful thing. Hope is so beautiful. I know as I was building my business, I haven't made money and I haven't made money. I've invested so much of my own money, but I, like you, I just knew it. But these are the kind of purpose-driven people that employers do want to find. And the reality is we have woken up and we were on this wheel. I was guilty as everybody else. I was flying all over the place when, the reality is, we sometimes we just need to stop and listen. But I want to make one more comment about something you said. Hope can take us so many places. I know there have been times, as I've been doing all this work since 2000, when I was hopeful something was going to happen. Some money was going to come in. Somebody was going to invest in us, a client. Because for years and years, corporations, they appreciated what we did, but they just wanted us to do it for free. Because you're helping people with disabilities, you should do it for free. You know what? You should pay people that do good things for society better than people that are doing. This is ridiculous, but I believe it's changed now. And we're seeing it change too. But sometimes giving somebody hope gets them through the day. The parent with the child with Down syndrome, at a time when there are countries saying, we've eradicated Down syndrome. No, you haven't. You're just aborting your babies earlier. But my daughter with Down syndrome matters. And she's been such a powerful teacher to me. She's not perfect. She's not happy all the time. She's just a very complicated woman. But she's a teacher to me, and she deserves to be born, and she deserves to have a life and to be valued. So I just wanted to say that hope that you're helping spread, that helps us be able to take one more step forward to make the world better. So thank you for that. So.
And I will tell you something really new about my new year. I just completed my first novel. And so my wish for this year is to have it published.
Oh, wow. And tell us about the novel, because Billion Strong is going to publish novels. We're going to, I should say books. And we don't know if we're going to just do it ourselves or if we're going to partner with a publisher, but we have 3 books in queue, and maybe now we have another. Tell us about your book.
I will tell you more. It's really an opportunity to talk about neurodiversity in a very nice and funny way, so that can get the story of the main character. She's a lady working in a company, so she has a really regular life that many people can find themselves in the character, and describing the difficulties, the challenges, and really the differences in perception and interacting with other people, and the way she processes information. So that's in a funny way, because another thing I would like to start off this year is to be a neurodiversity advocate, because my diagnosis didn't change my life, because I have been Asperger for my whole life without knowing that. So nothing has changed now after the diagnosis, but now I feel I am stronger because I'm more aware. But I don't want a medical diagnosis to limit me, because I've been coping with this with all my life so successfully, and I want to keep it up. And I want to spread my coping strategy with more people that are maybe struggling with their neurodiversity. And I really want to set a new way of talking about that. So there's not autism is awful. No, neurodiversity is beautiful.
I agree. And when I was diagnosed much later in life, in my 50s, with having ADHD, I was like, that makes sense.
Exactly. That's why.
I'm not just some weirdo. Okay. And then multiple of my friends, including Neil Milliken, was saying, how could you not have known? How could you be I didn't. I don't know. I just didn't know, but it sure makes sense now. My grandmother used to say, you're a wiggle worm. I'm not sleeping with you. My teachers would say, shut up talking, Deborah, sit down. If you say one more word. Yeah. But if somebody
moment, yes.
Right. Just
fantastic.
An adult had recognized that I was neurodiverse and helped me, because I really did poorly in school until I became an adult. And then because I just didn't really feel that they knew how to teach me. They sure didn't appreciate me. I was a chatterbox. I was a distraction. And people take these things on and it messes with your life. So I think it's very important. And I think a book like that is very important. So I would like you and I to have a conversation about Billion Strong being the publisher or whatever. And if any publishers are listening to the show and you want to talk to us, we have now 4 good books. But you know what? I think we should do this, Irene, because we are 1.3 billion people. Why don't we take care of ourselves? You don't need to go find a publisher. We should have a publisher that wants to publish, for example, books about our community. We should have training that address that. We should have master classes. We should.
That's really important. You know, also
each other. Yeah.
Of having books on the stories of people with disability written by people with disabilities.
Yes.
Because we really need to own the narration, the storytelling, because nothing about us without us. we are able to tell our stories.
And they're not just words. We actually want nothing about us without us. But we also, it's unfortunate that 80% of our community, you don't know we're part of the community. But if you look at me, I'm older now, I'm not a good example. If we look at you, you are a beautiful young woman, people just make an assumption that you don't have a disability if you're not blind, you have a guide dog, you're
exactly.
Right, you have Down syndrome. But actually, we are just human beings and we're very diverse and we're all here. And that's the challenge that Billion Strong has, which we will do. One of our, Nabil Eid, the chief strategy officer, he spoke for the UN in December. He does it all the time, but he spoke for them and they were asking questions. They said, when did you start Billion Strong? And he said, we started it in April 2021. And they're like, and you've got 95 countries involved? And is that because the timing is right? People know, people like you, the light bringers, we're all finding each other. You found me on LinkedIn, and in LinkedIn, God bless them, they're turning up of all of our work. Oh, so I think I know it's going to be hard, as you said. It is hard. We had a really hard few days, but I still am optimistic about the future, because why don't we, Irene, let's build a future that works for more people. Let's build a future that values your husband, that values your neurodiversity. Let's have a whole series of your books talking about this character and who this character is. And you know what, now we're like flip-flopping back and forth, because my ADHD is a superpower, but it is also something that really challenges me. The other, embarrassingly, I'm going to say, I just threw a big old fit. I went in my room, shut the door, and I had a fit because it was so hard. The lights were out. It was so cold. My daughter wanted her technology, and I couldn't find my iPad. And so I just had a fit. I just started screaming in the room saying, where's my iPad? Where's my iPad? Just a fit. And I knew I was having a fit. And then I was like, then I calmed down. And guess what? I didn't get my iPad back that second, because that's not the way it works. You have to be calm. And of course, I found it the very next day. My husband had put it in a drawer. But it was just funny, because even if I was having my little fit, I knew it wasn't going to do any good, but it made me feel better. So sometimes maybe we have to do that. But I do believe the way forward is by supporting each other, finding out, what is Irene in Italy doing? What is Adidas doing? Because I know, just giving love to the Adidas brand, they really are trying hard. And I want to work for companies and with companies that are trying to include us and listening. And I want to hear, who is Adidas, by somebody that works for Adidas. I don't want to hear it from your PR. I want to hear it from your team. Oh, and I'm just saying that was with all of them. So these brands that are telling us they're good brands, I don't want to hear it from you. I want to hear it from the Irenas. I want to hear it from people inside. And I always say to employers, I'm going to do two brands. There's a McDonald's and a Taco Bell right next to each other in our little small town. And I don't know why, but every time I go through the McDonald's, the workers are not very nice to you. And the orders almost always are wrong. Every time I go to the Taco Bell right next door to it, the people are so nice to you. And so I said to them one time, what is different here than there? But something's different. And I, as the customer, should not know that obviously the Taco Bell employees are treated much better in that location than the McDonald's in that location. We know these things. And when we know them, I don't go to that McDonald's anymore. I will not go. I will drive to go to another one for unsweetened iced tea. And it's a silly story, but it is the story of a brand. Adidas. I don't have to buy Adidas. I can buy Reeboks. I can buy Nikes. I don't have to buy Adidas. Adidas are expensive, but it also has all these different price levels. But I appreciate a brand like Adidas that cares about our community. So we are going to love on Adidas because we appreciate them. And they're not perfect, but who is perfect? So we definitely want to talk to you more about your book. You speak too, right? So you would be available to do public speaking, right? Too? Is that something? Sure. Not everybody likes to do that. Some people hate it. So I don't want to put words in their mouth.
So. Currently I like public speaking when I have to talk about a good cause. So it's good. Myself in the spotlight when I have to spread some message. I really believe it.
See, and that's why first time I talked to you, I thought, she's my girl. So I love the light. This is the light. So, well, I want to give you the stage to tell us, what is your hope for the future? And also, can you let people know how to contact you? If somebody wants to reach out to you, I know you're on LinkedIn because you and I met on LinkedIn. Love LinkedIn. But tell people how they can contact you, but also, what is your hope for the future? And how can we help you besides getting this book published and future books?
Oh, really? I think we are building a better world. And I hope for this year and future years that we can keep a good job, really building a global community of people taking care of each other, supporting each other, amplifying the best practices, maximizing the efforts, because also among associations or people with different disabilities, sometimes there's no unity. And really make me suffer because we are all on the same boat. We need to row in the same direction, identify a few goals that are good for everyone and work on them. And we can really accomplish something big, really bigger if we get together. I really believe in the power of togetherness. And that's why I really love Billion Strong. Have to improve the conversation, shifting from the assistance of people with disability, seen as a medical condition, as a disadvantage, bringing discomfort. We really need to focus on the special abilities, on what people can accomplish, the unique contribution they bring in the workplace, the community, to the sports, to the culture, everywhere. So really need to refresh the conversation. That's my hope. And I'm really keen to collaborate with people who are making the difference, for example, in digital accessibilities, and all that can enable the experiences of people with disabilities, because that really matters to me. And
well said.
You can contact me via LinkedIn, and I'm always available to have a talk and to know new people, to collaborate with people, to my advice as much as I can.
Yes, and we're going to continue. We're going to try to talk her into doing a masterclass for us, and I'm really impressed with Irene. This is why we're doing Billion Strong, because the thing that I do love about Billion Strong is just all about us. It's not about Billion Strong needs it. No, Billion Strong is Irene. Billion Strong is Doug Foresta. Billion Strong is Deborah Rue. Billion Strong is Lamondre. It's us. And if a billion people came together just to protect each other, which, by the way, 7 billion people should come together to protect each other. All of us should, but let's show the way forward. So I just really appreciate your light and your work and your innovativeness and creativeness. I really do. And I am going to recommend you for different speeches. And I know you're very involved in Billion Strong, but I'm also hopeful about 2022. I am. I'm not naive. I know it's hard. My beautiful husband, I'm sure, will probably pass this year. And my poor little daughter dreamed the other night. She's 34 with Down syndrome, but she dreamed I died. And I said, no, honey. She said, Mom, you died in the war. And I said, okay. I'm a pacifist. I'm not going to fight in a war. I'm not going to let anybody else tell me to hurt other people, but that's how she's processing. And then this morning, she said she had a dream about my husband, who's very late stage, very sad what's happening. And he was talking and laughing and playing with her. And I said, yeah, he'll be able to do that. So I'm not saying it's not hard. It is so hard. But at the same time, if I have to walk this pain to make the world a better place for more people, I'm going to do it. And I know, Irene, that's what you're going to do. It's what your husband's going to do. That's what a brand like Adidas is doing. So we're all strong together, but we just have to understand we are human beings we are spiritual beings having a human experience. We are stronger together. So Irene, thank you so very much for your work. I want you to come back on the show, but you're going to see me talking to her a lot because I think Irene is the future. So we need all of the Irenas all over the world to come together, the male and the female Irenas, and we are going to build a world that works for everybody. We're going to stop this mess. It'll take a long time, but we're determined.
We will. Sure.
All right. Let me give you the last words, though. Last words.
It was really great to have this conversation with you today. I am so grateful. Thanks for having me in Billion Strong and in your fantastic show. I really appreciate the way you talk about social impact, inclusion, and disabilities. The future is bright, so keep it up, Deborah.
How generous you are in that you end with the last comment saying really sweet things about me. That right there shows who you are. You are people giver.
No, you know I am a Asperger, so I'm just honest.
I love it. I love it. So Iggy, I needed it today after my really hard few days. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I agree. We're going to do it together. I will have her back on. And if you want to connect with her, she's on LinkedIn. So we'll put the link so that you can find her. But I'm real impressed. And Adidas, good job getting her. All right. Bye, everyone.
You've been listening to Human Potential at Work. To learn more about Rue Global Impact, visit rueglobal.com. And to learn more about Billion Strong, an identity and empowerment organization designed to bring the billions of voices of persons with disabilities together, you can join the global community and donate at billion-strong.org. That's billion-strong.org.